This is going to be incredibly short, but my boy Bradley B just brought something to my attention, and I love to shit on LeBron James. So, LeBron, Mr. Never should be in the same conversation as Michael Jordan, Mr. I went to the Lakers and I can't even make the playoffs no more. I really dislike LeBron James. Let's put that out there first. So, of course, because nobody's immune from taking a side on this conflict, we have a statement from Baby Brown himself on his Instagram. This comes from LeBron James. This is not misinformation. This comes from LeBron James's own Insta. The devastation in Israel is tragic and unacceptable. The murder and violence against innocent people by Hamas is terrorism. The Spring Hill Company family sends our deepest condolences to Israel and the Jewish community. We pray for peace in the region and reiterate our continued commitment to fight hate in all its forms. We must work to ensure that tragedy does not spread even more hate, racism, and anti-Semitism by Maverick Carter and LeBron James. Now, why is this interesting? This is interesting because we know that the Black Lives Matter, which LeBron has been an integral part of for a very long time, ardent supporter, and things of that nature, have sided with Palestine. So, this brings up some other interesting things from I-24 News over here. LeBron James is now the most hated person in Israel. Israelis on Sunday, this is from 2022. Israelis on Sunday harshly criticized the firing of local hero David Blatt as coach of the NBA's Cleveland Cavaliers, calling him the victim of superstar LeBron James's influence over the team. One sports commentator even compared Israelis' hate of LeBron James to their hate of Islamist movement Hamas. Hey, Sked. The 2014 hiring of Blatt, an Israeli citizen who led powerhouse Maccabi Tel Aviv to a European title, gave Israelis a jolt of pride. When the Cavaliers played in last year's NBA Finals, many stayed up late to watch the games. But a rift between Blatt and James, the Cavaliers' star player, who may rank among the... That's misinformation right there. Among the greatest ever, reportedly led to his downfall, with his team announcing Friday that they were firing despite having one of the league's best records. LeBron James is now the most hated person in Israel. Sharon Davidovich, a sports journalist for Israeli news site Ynet and Yedias Aronoth newspaper, told AFP. He said the decision to move on from Blatt was correct since the players and coach did apparently not get along, but noted that Israeli fans were taking the decision very hard. It's a bit about joking and a bit of true. These days I can only compare the Israeli hate for LeBron James to the hate for Hamas, he said, speaking of the Palestinian Islamist movement that runs Gaza Strip, which calls for Israel's destruction. I-24 News' Jonathan Regev explains the animosity is because many people decide which team they support based on players and coaches for those teams. That's why many Israelis recently became hardcore fans of Cleveland Cavaliers since David Blatt's appointment. Now they hate him because of the uncomfortable way in which he was fired, but at the end of the day, this is a business and the players are the main protagonists, and if a player is as influential as LeBron James, he will call the shots. We may not like it, but that's the way it would exactly be with the same situation with any other coach. Israeli newspapers gave him a front-page treatment on Sunday. One said, Goliath eliminates David, referring to James and Blatt. A cartoon on the back cover of Yadigoth Aronoth showed Blatt walking away from the locker room with a box of belonging as James uncorked champagne behind his back. From the Jerusalem Post, Blatt's firing meant the dream came to an abrupt end. So, now we're going to go a little bit further back. And we're going to talk about LeBron James calls Black Lives Matter a lifestyle, demands justice for Breonna Taylor. LeBron James praised Black Lives Matter lifestyle and doubles down on calls for justice as the Los Angeles Lakers return to the court for the first time since play was suspended because of the... James made comments on Thursday after the team's scrimmage against the Dallas Mavericks in Orlando, using his platform to shed light on the justice for Breonna Taylor, a young black medical worker who was fatally shot in plainclothes officers in her Louisville home in March. Not exactly true. As one of the league's or the leaders of this league, I want our family to know, I want the state of Kentucky to know that we feel for her and we want justice, James told reporters. That's what it's all about. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. We're not going to go through the fluff job of LeBron. James also spoke about St. George Floyd, 46, an unarmed black man killed by Minneapolis police earlier this year during an arrest for allegedly using a counterfeit $20 bill, police say. So we have a significant deal of support for Black Lives Matter, which seemed to be, in my opinion, it seemed to be something where it was fashionable at the time, so he supported the cause. And now we see him switching. And now supporting the other side of it, the Israelis, even though he doesn't have a strong track record and seems to be pretty hated in that area. And just so we know that this is true, BLM Chicago, that is all that is. I stand with Palestine from the official account of BLM, and it's parroting some of those paratroopers that came in. So there we have the absolute, unequivocated support from Black Lives Matter for Palestine. We also have LeBron James saying that he supports Israel now. So it's an interesting thing, and part of the reason of this is the parallels. So we see sides that were previously for one specific thing, we see them switching, because they don't have any values. They just have what's the newest popular, bandwagon that they can get on. And I don't think that's good for anybody. We also have the case, certainly. I was looking for the new Biden speech too, because I heard that was good. And I figured I'd play it to tack on the end of this, but I don't see it, actually. I guess he gave a speech today. Right here. So we'll hit that after, just to make the videos worth it. Here's my idea of what's going on. I think LeBron James goes wherever the money is. I think his basketball career is all but done. He's never been one of the elites or greats. He's all been about himself and how much money he can put in his pocket. Again, just my opinion. Just my opinion. But I think he's always sold out to the highest bidder. And he's always been interested in making the most money and the most impact and the most for his brand and image. I don't think he has any morals. I don't think he has any values. And I don't think he stands up for or believes in anything. Just the shit that will make him money. I think he's the worst kind of disgusting. I think he's a terrible person. I dislike LeBron James. I think he's garbage. So we'll finish this up with President Biden's remarks after joining a round table with Jewish community leaders, just so it's not just 10 minutes of me shitting on LeBron James, because I really don't like LeBron. I don't know if you guys got that yet, but so we'll now hit we'll hit Biden and then we'll end it. But I think that's the takeaway from this, is that LeBron doesn't care about the causes he supports. He cares about what's popular and what can make him the most money at the most time. We see that from what's going on. He obviously had no favor in Israel. He was not liked in Israel. We proved that with the previous article. He very strongly stood up for Black Lives Matter, who now supports Palestine, and he's on the other side supporting Israel. I think it's an interesting dynamic, an interesting place in history where we're in. It's LeBron PR team, not him. And you think 1 second, Mr. Jamal, that LeBron James let his PR team put out something with his name on it that was so decisive? You think for a half second he let his PR team put something so decisive out on a piece of paper? He's a businessman if he's nothing else. And there's no way he let that slip by and didn't approve the message that went out. And if he did, he's not even good at being a businessman. So, here's President Biden, roundtable with Jewish community leaders.
Folks, I came first of all to say thank you. Thank you to all of you in this room. You've not only cared, but you've been breaking your neck the last couple of years to deal with this overall issue of anti-Semitism. And I know many of you are personally impacted by what's happened in Israel. There are thousands of dual citizens, maybe some of your relatives that are there. And Doug, I want to thank you for all the work you've done on behalf of our administration to combat anti-Semitism. And I apologize, I've been on the phone around the clock with our friends around the world, quite frankly, discussing what's going on in Israel. And I want you to know that I want to thank you as well for all of you as well for working, the work you're doing to bring comfort and in this moment of grief for those who are grieving as well. And you'll read this weekend in synagogue, the Torah teaches us that God made stars to, quote, give light on the earth and separate light from darkness. Give light on the earth and separate light from darkness. You know, it's been hard to find that light during the darkness of these past few days. When terrorist groups like Hamas brought not only terror, but sheer evil to the world, evil that echoes the worst and matches, in some cases exceeds the worst atrocities of ISIS. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered in Israel. And by the way, I've been speaking with a number of Israeli leaders, a number of leaders around the world, leaders in the region as well. And, you know, among those who have been victimized, this evil, who've been killed, are at least 22 American citizens. This attack was a campaign of pure cruelty, not just hate, but pure cruelty against the Jewish people. And I would argue it's the deadliest day for Jews since the Holocaust. The deadliest day since the Holocaust. One of the worst chapters in human history that remind us all that expression I learned from my dad early on: silence is complicity. Silence is complicity. It really is. And I want you to know, I think you've already figured it out, I refuse to be silent. I know you refuse to be silent as well. I know you're here with my senior staff. You all represent a voice that America has to hear. America can't be silent. You know, we not only reject terrorism, but it goes beyond that. It goes beyond rejecting terrorism. You know, I spoke with Prime Minister Netanyahu for I don't know how many times, but again this morning. And already we're surging additional military assistance to the Israeli Defense Force, including ammunition, interceptors to replenish the Iron Dome, and we've moved the U.S. carrier fleet to the Eastern Mediterranean, and we're sending more fighter jets there in that region, and made it clear to the Iranians, be careful. We want to make it real clear. We're working on every aspect of the hostage crisis in Israel, including deploying experts to advise and assist with recovery efforts. Now, the press are going to shout to me, and many of you are, that, you know, what are you doing to get these folks home? If I told you, I wouldn't be able to get them home. Folks, there's a lot we're doing. A lot we're doing. I have not given up hope on bringing these folks home. But the idea that I'm going to stand here before you and tell you what I'm doing is bizarre. So I hope you understand how bizarre I think it would be to try to answer that question. In the days ahead, we're going to continue to work closely with our partners in Israel and around the world to ensure Israel has what it needs to defend its citizens, its cities, and to respond to these attacks. As I said yesterday, my commitment to Israel's security and the safety of the Jewish people is unshakable. The United States has Israel's back, and I have yours as well, both at home and abroad. You know, you can see the pain in some of your faces as I walked into this room. You okay, kiddo? Well, your fear for family, friends back in Israel. You worry about kids being targeted in school, about going about their daily lives. You're hurt by the downplaying of Hamas's atrocities and blaming Israel. This is unconscionable. And I've asked members of my team, including Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas and Attorney General Garland, to work intensively with our Jewish community.
Did he just say
partners,
homeless security?
So many of you here to set up security around Jewish
I think he
life
said
in
homeless
America,
security.
identify, prevent, and disrupt emerging threats that occur. You know, we're also going to continue to condemn and combat anti-Semitism at every single turn, at every turn. You know, the past few days have been a solemn reminder that hate never goes away. Hold on a second, I used to think you could defeat hate, that you could make it, all it does is go underground. It just goes underground, it doesn't go away. It only hides until it's given a little oxygen, a little bit of oxygen. And that's why I've secured the largest ever increase in funding for physical security for nonprofits, including synagogues, Jewish community centers, Jewish day schools. And in May, we released the first ever national strategy to counter anti-Semitism with the input from many of you in this room. Many of you in this room helped write that. It's the most ambitious, comprehensive effort to combat anti-Semitism in American history, in all of American history. And we're aggressively implementing it. But we must all do our part and forcefully speak out against anti-Semitism and push back against the attempts to deny or distort the facts. To make clear, there is no place for hate in America. Not against Jews, not against Muslims, not against anybody. And we mourn the act.
Wait, what about
MAGA
against MAGA Republicans?
So many leaders
Joe,
have across the country.
what about MAGA? Because you said you hated MAGA.
Jewish history has shown us the enduring strength, and I mean this sincerely, the enduring strength and spirit of the Jewish community. If you excuse a point of personal privilege, you should say in the Senate. That's why I took my kids, everyone when they turned 14 years old, one at a time, put them on a plane and took them to Dachau. I wanted them to see that you could not know what was going on.
Wait, did he just say when they turned 14, he put him on a plane and took him to Dachau? Okay, Joe.
Walking through those gates. You could not fail to understand as a country what was going on. And that's a fact. It had a profound impact on my children and my grandchildren. Some thought taking a 14-year-old grandchild was not a mistake, but I took them one at a time. I got 3 more to go. And folks, it's important. You know, the miracle of Israel is Israel. It's Israel itself. The hope it inspires. The light it represents to the world. And folks, I was asked in one of my very frank conversations with Bibi and with Herzog, so why do I feel so deeply about this? It's not about the region. I truly believe, were there no Israel, no Jew in the world would be ultimately safe. It's the only ultimate guarantee. The only ultimate guarantee. The only ultimate guarantee. And folks, because of you, and I mean
it's terrible.
Because you're speaking up, because of the intensity and the intellect and the brilliance you bring to this cause, I think we have a chance to end this in a way that it makes it very difficult for it to be repeated. I want to thank you for your leadership. And as I said, there's a lot to talk about. But I'm really, quite frankly, concerned as to, it's hard to talk about this without detail. And it's contrary to our interests to let out the detail of what we're going on. I mean, this is just round the clock, as you understand. You fully understand. But, you know, I've known Bibi for over 40 years. In a very frank relationship. I know him well. And the one thing that I did say, that it is really important that Israel, with all the anger, frustration, and just, I don't know how to explain it, that exists, is that they operate by the rules of war. The rules of war. And there are rules of war. And I believe Israel is doing everything in its power to pull the country together, stay on the same page, and we're going to do everything in our power to make sure Israel succeed in, God willing, to bring home those Americans who are in harm's way. I'm going to let you all have the private conversation you've been having, which you should continue to have, but it just came to basically, I really mean it from the bottom of my heart. I give you my word as a Biden. Thank you. Thank you for the intensity of your support. It matters. It matters that Americans see what's happening. I mean, I've been doing this a long time. I never really thought that I would
Potato! Potato! Potato!
beheading.
Three!
I never thought I'd ever. Anyway, but there are countries in the region that are trying to be of some help, including Arab nations that are trying to be of some help. So, anyway.
Mr. President, where do you draw strength in this region in these troubled times?
He doesn't even know where he's at.
From my faith.
Right.
My faith that
Not unless you're 10% behind
the
it.
core of every human being is a spark of humanity and decency. And it's got to be touched. It's got to be spoken to. That's what you do. That's why you're here.
I don't give a
about,
damn.
You know, revenge. It's about decency. Just basically decent. Just basic decency. treating people with a sense of, I don't know quite how to say it, but I know we can
No
overcome
shit, you
this.
don't know how to say it.
I know
I'm
we can
shocked.
overcome this.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos.
No, thank you. So, as you heard, that's our potato-in-chief. I mean, commander-in-chief.
Potato! 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 Potato!
That was rude. That was very rude, sir. You kicked the like button. Don't kick my button. But anyways, yeah, he's a terrible speaker, and it needs to. 25th Amendment can't come quick enough. He has to be removed from the office. He is terrible at what he does. So I have two pieces of advice.
9.
That wasn't one. I clicked the wrong button, legitimately. First, Joe Biden needs to be removed by the 25th Amendment, like yesterday. Second, LeBron James is
Vagina.
also, he is only for the money. He only does it for the money, and he should just shut up and dribble. I know he likes that one. With that being said, that's it for me tonight. Like I said, a super short stream because I've streamed too much today, and yep. So I'll leave you with some encouraging words from former Vice President Joseph Robinette Biden. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Maybe 9:45. I don't remember what time I set it for. Sometime in the morning, Eastern Time, I will be covering the SpaceX Falcon Heavy Psyche mission, which is another asteroid mission. It's going to be a really cool one. It's going to be really interesting, and I can't wait to see it because we don't get one rocket landing. We get two rocket landings simultaneously from the boosters. So y'all have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. Please hit that like and subscribe on your way out. If you haven't, YouTube is asshole, so they've been unsubscribing. So just check to make sure you're still subbed. Notifications mean fuck all anymore because they don't give them to you anyways. But have a good night, everybody.
My heart. There's nothing our nations can't achieve if we do it together. I really mean it. So thank you all. God bless you all. Let's go.